Good morning, everybody. We've got a mixed to higher trade in the grain markets here early on Monday morning. It is 6:30 a.m. Central Time. March corn futures down a half cent at 5.91 1/4. January soybeans up 6 1/2 at 12.59 1/4. March Chicago wheat up 6 1/4 at 8.46 1/2. March Kansas City wheat up 10 1/4 at 8.97 1/4. March spring wheat up 12 1/2 cents at 10.61. Hope you guys had a nice weekend and a nice Thanksgiving. Remember, if you are listening on any of the podcast apps, make sure you leave me a rating or review if you have not already. If you are watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, help me to grow this channel. My goal is to get up to 5,000 subscribers. I think we can do it. If you need some additional assistance from me, go to my website. It is www.standardgrain.com. Go to that website, click on Grain Marketing Plan in the upper right-hand corner. Check out this subscription service, guys, $49.99 a month. A ton of information direct from me. My morning email, which includes every overnight headline you need to be aware of, all of my grain marketing recommendations, things like targets in regard to capture and carry, all my subscriber-only videos and content. This is a ton of information for $49.99 a month. You can cancel it at absolutely any time. There's no other fee, no other obligation. I will not try to sell you anything else. Check this deal out this week, guys. So we have a new COVID variant. The Omicron variant is something that rattled all of the markets on Friday, and we had some big losses in a lot of the outside markets. WTI crude oil lost more than $10 per barrel. That's like 13% in one day. The S&P and the Dow both lost about 2.5%. The Dow Jones was down more than 900 points, was down more than 1,000 points intraday. So this new variant called the Omicron variant was first discovered in South Africa. It has already resulted in some significant travel bans, and that's the big fear here, I think, is that we get into this lockdown situation again. Economic activity is reduced, energy usage is reduced. Japan and Israel have taken the most extreme measures. They are banning their borders or closing their borders to all foreign travelers. The U.S., Canada, and the U.K. have all announced travel bans from South Africa or any other South African country. We don't know much about this new variant. There are some sources suggesting that it's potentially more contagious than prior variants. Some early observations indicate that symptoms are perhaps more mild. We probably don't have enough data to draw conclusions at this point in time. Some people believe that an international spread is already a strong likelihood. President Biden will issue a statement regarding the new variant today. So this is not the first time that we've discussed a new variant, and it probably won't be the last time. So this is something that we're going to have to get used to, is that there's going to be a new variant here, a new variant there. These different mutations are going to result in different issues, and it's going to be different locations in different countries every time around, I would guess. What is the implication here for the markets? Well, the implication, first off, would be just reduced economic activity as a result of lockdowns, and that's bad for the stock market. It's bad for the energy markets. In regard to our grain markets in particular, I would say that the ethanol implication might be the biggest thing to look out for. You know, ethanol production collapsed last spring in the initial COVID panic and took the corn market along with it. Now, that being said, the grain markets acted very, very well on Friday. The corn market came back and closed higher on the day on Friday following some sharp early losses. We had a trade in the soybean market and also in the wheat market where they finished off of the lows, and then some strength here this morning. So the grain markets have not acted poorly aside from those couple of hours on Friday, and we hope that that continues. Ethanol production, we had the report out Wednesday last week, but I have not had time to talk about it, so we'll run through that here real quickly. Ethanol production, 1.079 million barrels per day, very strong. That was up 1.8% on the week, up 9% versus the same week in 2020, and up 1.9% versus the same week in 2019. Ethanol stocks up marginally on the week, but they continue to sit. Ethanol stocks at their lowest level in 5 years seasonally, implying very strong demand here. So if you look at this chart that I got on my screen here, I mean, this COVID spike low, this is like absolute worst case scenario when you get into these new variants. I don't think that's where we're headed at all. But if you were to get into some situation where the United States in total decided to lock down again and people just stop driving. I mean, that's what you risk, and that's why your knee-jerk reaction on a day like Friday is just to sell corn and sell everything else. But I think cooler heads are prevailing today, and we hope that continues. We did have our weekly export sales report out on Friday. Corn export sales posted a marketing year high, 1.43 million metric tons. That was up 58% on the week, up 40% from the prior 4-week average in corn export sales. Mexico, Canada, Japan were the biggest buyer. There were actually some corn sales switched from unknown destinations to China, and we haven't seen China on the export sales sheet very much at all here recently when it comes to corn. There are some broader implications perhaps when it comes to corn exports. Shipments are an issue. Shipments to China in particular are an issue. I'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow when we see our inspections report today. Soybean sales were actually decent last week too, 1.56. That was up 13% on the week. Still, accumulated net sales in soybeans for the marketing year are 30% behind the same period last year. And USDA says we're only going to decline by 9.5%. So in all likelihood, I think in this December report, USDA's got to come down with this soybean export projection. If they don't do it in December, they're going to have to do it in January, would be my guess. Wheat sales were actually really good too. So we had a decent week of export sales last week. Russian wheat prices have risen for 6 consecutive weeks. 12.5 protein wheat from Black Sea ports for the first half of December, $340 per ton, up from $334 last week. That's according to private group ICAR. Russian wheat exports are down sharply this year. They're down 35% year over year for the marketing year. Russia had a smaller crop. They've got these export taxes. This is of particular concern. You've just got to watch this. Russia's the biggest wheat exporter in the world. You've got to watch their prices as a gauge for global price trends. More rains headed for Brazil. Many key corn and soybean growing areas will see as much as 3 to 5 inches of rain between today and say December 8th or 9th. That's according to the Euro model. The GFS is actually a little bit more aggressive with projected rainfall totals. Far southern areas of Brazil remain notably dry and have been drier this year. So if there's a problem area in Brazil, it's those southern areas. But a lot of groups are increasing their production estimates for Brazilian soybeans. Not yet for Brazilian corn because we're not into that second growing season. But the conditions, Brazil and Argentina, I would say generally favorable. We've got a holiday delayed commitment of traders report after the close today. And remember, tomorrow, guys, is first notice day for December grain futures. Make sure you take a look at any remaining open positions you have there. Another market that was very impressive on Friday was the cattle market. Live cattle came back and finished the day with sharp gains, and feeder cattle finished the day mixed, which I would say is a victory given what happened in the outside markets. I just kind of had flashbacks Friday morning, looking at the stock market of spring 2020 when the cattle collapsed along with the stock market, and that was not the case on Friday. Cash cattle was anywhere from 136 to 140 last week, which was a big improvement on the week. The box beef market mixed on Friday. Outside markets staging a little bit of recovery here. The dollar is up just marginally. The S&P is up 35. The Dow's up 200. So the Dow lost 900 Friday. It's up 200 today. Stabilizing, not recovering all of the gains yet. The bonds are off more than a full handle. Gold and silver just a little bit higher. Crude oil is up $3.46 in the January WTI at 71.60. Everybody have a great day today. I will talk to you guys tomorrow morning.